During the more than 3 years that I have served as supervisor, I have had frequent opportunities to interact, confer, and consult with professional managers and administrators of several Westchester municipalities, and I have considered whether it would be advantageous for North Castle to create such a position. I discussed this issue with the town board, and we scheduled a presentation and question and answer discussion with 2 town administrators and a village manager at a public work session last June. We followed up by creating the Administrator Review Task Force to study relevant considerations. We are not considering the position of town manager because it includes the authority to hire and fire personnel. We were deliberate in our selection of the task force, considering areas of expertise that would be important in the makeup of the group. The task force presented its report at the March 11th town board meeting and made a unanimous recommendation to, quote, hire a town administrator as soon as possible, unquote. We will move expeditiously to draft a law to provide for a town administrator and to schedule a public hearing. Once we have given the public ample time to comment, the town board will vote on the proposal. Copies of the excellent report are available on the What's New page of the town website. Charles Shapiro, who is a city planner, was chair of the task force. Charles will begin the presentation. Don Gregg, a former United States ambassador and CIA official, prepared the report, and he will present his report.
First, I'd like to thank the supervisor and town board for allowing me to chair this task force on such an important issue to our town. In addition to Don Gregg and myself, the task force included Jack Boyce, Doug Cassetta, Jackie Mackin, John Reese, and Earl Yaffa. Although we have made a unanimous recommendation to hire a town administrator, it would be a mistake to interpret this as a criticism of our town board or of the current town supervisor. In fact, we consider this a major opportunity to improve the efficiency of our town's government, and we applaud the supervisor and town board for having the vision to consider this change. Don Gregg will now present the main findings of our task force.
I was first approached by Reese Berman last summer when she asked me to become a member of the Administrator Review Task Force. I was delighted to accept her offer. I had had a number of years of experience at the national level of government, but had done nothing at the town level. I also was delighted to meet the other members of the task force, and we found as we got to know each other that we all had lived in the town for a number of years, and the total years of our residence in North Castle was over 150 years. As we held our meetings, which began last fall, the economic collapse that is now engulfed the country was taking place off stage, as it were. And as we contemplated what we were looking at, we recognized that at every level of government in the country, national, state, county, and town, our government was undertaking the same kind of effort we were. That was, how do you meet increased cost with less revenue? How do you deal with a need for greater efficiency in governing? And so we felt very much in keeping with what was going on in the rest of the country as we looked at this issue. And as we met town administrators from neighboring villages and saw the increased efficiencies that had come from their work, as we talked with the town board and found a virtual unanimity on their part in being willing to consider this change, we became more confident in approaching our recommendation that we should consider shifting from a supervisor to an administrator. The one obstacle to this were the inevitable costs involved in hiring an administrator. So the need for change in North Castle was greeted by Supervisor Berman's willingness to make change and her offer to generously contribute $70,000 from her salary, which would make up approximately half the cost of hiring a town administrator. The other half we felt would soon accrue from the added efficiencies which would come from having continuity, and a overall leadership exerted over all of the town's departments. And so as we came to this conclusion, we were confident in submitting our unanimous recommendation to the town of North Castle that it hire a town administrator as soon as possible. Now, Charles Shapiro, the chairman of our task force, a man with considerable town planning experience, will go into the specific duties of the town administrator that we hope one day will come to work in North Castle.
In general terms, the town administrator would be the chief administrative officer, or COO, of our town. The supervisor would continue to be the chief executive of the town, and with the town board would continue to have ultimate responsibility for all local laws, regulations, budget approval, contract approval, and the hiring and firing of town employees. Although town board members could still maintain liaison relationships with town departments and committees, it is the town administrator that would organize, direct, and coordinate with all departments on a day-to-day basis. This would allow the town board to focus its attention on policy and its future long-term vision for our town. The town administrator would manage the entire process of preparing an annual budget and recommending it to the town board. As part of this process, the town administrator would be responsible for periodic performance review and evaluation of all town departments and personnel. The town administrator would undertake all vendor solicitation, evaluation of bids, and negotiation of contracts, as well as personnel contract negotiation. The administrator would be responsible for all studies related to alternate funding sources, for project feasibility, and for alternate methods of providing town services. Additionally, he or she would be expected to keep abreast of innovations being pursued by comparable localities throughout the United States and to assess their applicability to the town of North Castle.
With regard to a proposed time frame to establish the position of town administrator, I anticipate that discussion will take place at an April town board meeting, public hearings will be convened in May, and I expect that the town board would vote sometime in June. Then we would be in a position to search for and interview candidates during the summer and fall. This is an ambitious schedule, but one that follows a thoughtful and deliberate process.
The town of North Castle has a long-standing tradition of fine governance, and the hiring of a town administrator at this particular time would be very much in keeping with that strong tradition. So it is my hope that this report can lead to a series of meetings and hearings and eventually to a vote by the town board to move toward hiring a town administrator. Thank you very much.